Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video we are going to be trying on and giving the first impressions on the new L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I got mine from Boots. It was $10.99 and I counted on their website they had 26 shades. However, I'm sure there are more shades than that. I'm sure some of the people in America who's done American videos have said like there's around 30 shades, so maybe we just haven't got them all on Boots' website. So I also picked up the Infallible Concealer. So this is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible More Than Concealer. So it just looks like this, and I got it in the lightest shade, which is Porcelain 320. Previously there wasn't any kind of concealer that went in this range. However, this foundation, I think it's been reformulated, because I'm just going to show you a picture now. So I think that this foundation, because it's called Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear, is a reformulation of this foundation. I don't know how well you can see it. Do you remember this L'Oreal foundation? It says Infallible 24-Hour. I have tried that foundation in the past and I remember it being very thick, so I don't know what this consistency is like. And also I also got the shade Porcelain in this one as well. So I do think this foundation is probably just a reformulation or a repackaging of that original foundation that I've just showed you. I think it wasn't available in the American market, and I think that's what they've done. They've just repackaged, rebranded it so they can launch into that different market. So as I said, I got mine from Boots and they were on 3 for 2 at the time. So I got the foundation, I got the concealer. I think the concealer was around $9.99, so not the cheapest concealer. I got the L'Oreal Paris, what are these called? It doesn't actually have the name of what liquid lipstick they are called on here. It just says the shade Empower, so I'm going to try this out as well. So these were on 3 for 2, so I got one of them free. And then when you also bought them on Boots' website, you got this mini it's a face mask set, so I think they're all in like little pods, so you might have to use them pretty quickly once you've opened them, but I thought for 3 for 2 and a gift that was pretty cool. So for this foundation, as always, I will be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, just because it does nothing drastic to my skin. It doesn't really alter how the foundation wears on my face the way that maybe a smoothing or a mattifying primer would. Then I'll also be using a beauty blender for one side of the face and a Real Technique. The writing has come off it now because it's getting a little bit old. This is an Expert face brush and I like to use these for foundation, so let's jump in. So that is one layer, and I have the beauty blender side on this side and then the brush on this side. So in all honesty, I do really like the beauty blender side. I think I've got more coverage out of that side than I have on the brush. I'm just going to read you out some of the claims because I did realise that I haven't actually done any of that. So it does actually say on Boots' website available in 26 shades, so I didn't need to count them. Weightless Feel Fresh Wear Liquid Foundation, so it does feel quite weightless on my face, so we'll agree with that. Transfer proof, life proof, party proof and waterproof. Obviously I'm not going to test the waterproof. When I think of transfer proof, I do think of my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop, because that one truly is transfer proof. So we'll need to, you know, maybe try touching my face, you know, and see whether anything comes off at different points during the day. But if you're looking for something definitely transfer proof, this one is amazing for that. However, saying that though about the transfer proof, NYX are owned by L'Oreal, so it wouldn't surprise me maybe if the formulation kind of filtered into each other and, you know, like they had similar properties between the two foundations. So it does say a long wear formula lasts up to 24 hours. Obviously I'm not going to test my foundation for 24 hours because it will just break me out. And The only time I can really think of when you would use a foundation for 24 hours, because I would never stay up for 24 hours, is when you're on a flight, you know, when maybe you're on there for a long time. But yeah, maybe if you're a party animal, you might use your foundation for 24 hours. So no compromise full coverage foundation. Obviously I've not got full coverage from this, so we'll need to try building up and putting a second layer on. And it says ultra stretchable gel formulation, so I don't know what ultra stretchable means. So I do think it's worth knowing that the formulation feels different than the picture of that foundation I showed you before, so maybe they just replaced the foundation or maybe even reformulated, because it's definitely not the same formula that I remember, because I remember the original one being very thick. And this actually does feel quite light when I've been applying it to my face. So I am just going to put a second layer on now and see how buildable it is and see if I can get full coverage out of it. Okay, so that is a second layer applied to my face. I definitely think it's a buildable foundation. It actually looks really nice now that I've put a second layer on. Again, this is the lighter shade, so if you're any lighter than me, I think it's a good match for me, but if you're any lighter than me, you might need to use like a white mixer in with this foundation. Okay, so that's the foundation done with. I'm going to apply the concealer now. It's worth noting that the concealer is actually one of the lightest concealers I own, which is pretty cool. So if you're struggling to get a light enough concealer, maybe this one might be worth trying. I'm going to apply it with the Beauty Blender just because I prefer that for my face. So I do like that even though these are the same shade name, they're both called Porcelain, the concealer is actually lighter than the foundation, so that is pretty cool. And it does say that it is a full coverage concealer as well. Oh yeah, definitely, look at that, how much that has covered. That is definitely a full coverage concealer. So I have just touched my face a little bit because one of the claims of this foundation is it's transfer proof, and my foundation does feel a little bit tacky. I am going to set this foundation, so I'm going to use the AOA Studio Perfect finishing pressed powder that I got in my dollar haul, and I am also going to use the Essence Brighten Up Banana powder for the concealer. Okay, so that's the powder applied to my face. I am going to test this foundation out probably for around 7 or 8 hours today. The time is now around the 1 o'clock mark. It's a Saturday, so obviously I can stay up a little bit later, and it takes me ages to get myself together on a Saturday, and that's why I always, you know, my first check-in time is always around 1 o'clock. So we'll do some light makeup today, and who knows, I may come back with a full face. You know, maybe a makeup play day, I'm not sure. So yeah, first time check-in time is around 1 o'clock. I will come back later to show you how it is warm. Hey guys, welcome back. So the time is almost 10 o'clock at night, so I've had this foundation on for around 9 hours now. So looking at my face, I am oily around my nose and on my chin, starting to get it a little bit on my cheeks here and on my forehead. Because I have oily skin, I have combo skin, especially on my T-zone. This is to be expected from most foundations. So this foundation's claim is that it's long lasting, and if I'm perfectly honest, it doesn't do anything different than some of the other foundations that I have. It's not a very especially long lasting. If I want to think of something that's long lasting, then it can't stop, won't stop. Now that is long lasting. Again, it also says it is transfer proof. I have touched my face and nothing considerable has come off. However, again, I do need to compare it to the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. That one is 100% transfer proof. I'd probably say, you know, This one's probably about, I don't know, 60-70%, and then that's 100%. So if you definitely don't want something coming off throughout the day, your NYX is the one for you. So the foundation's been alright. I'd probably give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's not my best foundation, it's not my worst foundation, but it's in the better half of the foundations. The concealer, I think the concealer's really nice. My under eyes look fine, it's very full coverage. However, I will say it is very light, very, very light. So if you're quite pale, this will be really good for you. Like, I feel like I'm really bright under the eyes. So I might actually need to go up a shade, which is brilliant, because sometimes the lightest concealer is not even light enough for me, so that is really cool. And the liquid lipstick, so I didn't try that on in the video because my husband was getting me some food just after I finished recording, and I thought, you know, I don't want to eat something greasy and then try the liquid lipstick. So I tried it probably about four hours ago. So I put it on, it was very watery and liquidy. I wasn't expecting that as well, because a lot of liquid lipsticks are a little bit thicker in formula. So when I put it on my lips, it looked really glossy, and I thought, have I got this wrong? Is this really a liquid lipstick? But so it did take a couple of minutes for it to dry down. So when it did dry down on my lips, it felt very light, very velvety. It didn't feel like a typical liquid lipstick. And when I was drinking, not a lot actually came off on the glass, which was pretty cool, but I don't know how well you can see, it has worn away on the inner part of my lips. Obviously not as long lasting as some of my other liquid lipsticks. Again, if you want something really long lasting, I'll probably go for the Maybelline, the Super Stay Matte Inks. They will not budge. Okay, so a little roundup of everything. The foundation, it's not a bad foundation, but I'd say if you have something like the Revolution Conceal and Define foundation, you probably don't need this foundation, because for me it lasts a little bit longer and it sits almost similar on my skin, and it's cheaper. So it's about £7 at Superdrug at the moment, so compared to, I think it was £10.99 for this. The concealer, really like the concealer. It's very full coverage, did very well for brightening. Obviously we'll need to check out some other colours. The liquid lipstick I wouldn't bother with because it's worn away quite a bit, and it made me actually wondering whether I'd bought a liquid lipstick. So for me it wasn't worth, I think, the £10 that I paid for it. So thanks for watching this video today. I want to know if you've got this foundation and what are your thoughts on it. Have you had like a similar experience to me, or do you really love this foundation? Maybe I just need to, you know, find a mattifying primer that works with this foundation, because I did try the Smashbox primer, which, you know, doesn't do a lot for my skin. It's just a basic primer. Maybe I need something more mattifying for it. So if you've got any like kind of tips on what I can use with it, let me know in the comments box. I will link some videos and things for you to look in the description box, and I will see you again shortly. Bye.